Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 4 of Pluto. Uh, I haven't been getting to this as quickly as I've wanted to. As I mentioned, I wanted to get this done by a certain point, just to bridge the gap before coming back in the new year with One Piece. But it's been basically I've what I've had to do is I would have had to do like an episode a week and everything, but that leaves episodes left, so I had to basically schedule it for, in a lot of cases, 2 a week. The problem is motivating myself to do that, because this is one of those shows that is very intense and very serious. I mean, it's Naoki Urasawa. That's expected. And it's great for what it is. Absolutely. But when you're watching like an hour-long episode of a very serious show, it takes a bit out of you. At least for me. And makes me just less motivated to get to another in quick succession. I'm still motivated to get to more overall. Excuse me. But the quick succession of this is the issue. Trying to get this done in such a short amount of time, trying to do these episodes so quickly, is tough. And it's part of the issue, if you remember, that I had with Doom Patrol. Though admittedly, Doom Patrol got a lot more depressing. But with Doom Patrol, it was kind of the same thing. It was so much packed into that hour-long episode that I became demotivated to react to it. I took breaks from watching, and I just kept finding reason after reason to react to anything else. Eventually, because of this, because I felt like I was not only letting myself down, but you guys down in terms of reactions and everything, I ended up dropping it from reactions. Because it's just, I couldn't handle doing that anymore. And like I said, Doom Patrol is a lot more depressing, a lot harder to sit through than Pluto is. Pluto also has that mystery element that helps as well. So it's not like I'm saying that we're in another situation like Doom Patrol, where this is just going to take too much out of me and I'm not going to be able to continue this. No. But what I'm saying is, and I'm saying this right off the bat instead of waiting until the afterthoughts, is that I should not have put this in this slot at this time. Trying to force this into the slot to take over for One Piece for the time being was a mistake. I should have gone with something easier to handle, that I wouldn't have to force myself to watch, again, multiple episodes a week just to be able to get through in time. The thing is, though, most series I would have chosen to react to would be longer. Like, even if they're just 12 episodes or something. Still, that's more than 8. And now, at the time, like, I'm thinking about this, at the time, like, this revelation, you could say, is coming to light, we're already, like, halfway through the month, basically. It's the 13th. And we only have one more week left before we take a break for the holiday. Next week, we have a full week, but after that, we're off. Because, a week from next Monday is Christmas Day. For those who celebrate, I am one of which. So, the question at this point is, well, what do I do? Do I just tough it out and finish Pluto? Because there's not really time to replace it with anything at this point. And I think the best option here is that we're going to pull an Invincible. And again, I'll talk more about this in the afterthoughts, but we're going to split this season into 2 halves of 4 episodes in terms of my reaction to them. We're going to finish out this episode, and then we're going to take a break from the series. And I want to make clear, it's not because of the series itself. The series isn't like wearing me out exactly. It's because of this, of trying to do this series in too short of an amount of time. It's too short of an amount of time for me. So we're gonna put this on pause after this episode, and we'll come back to it at a later point when I don't have to worry about the time constraints. And that means that there's pretty much going to be nothing in this time slot until the beginning of the year. I'm going to replace it on the channel banner with One Piece, just because that is what's going to replace it again. But we're still waiting till the beginning of the year to actually get to One Piece. That's still the plan. So, I apologize if this seems confusing to everyone. I apologize if this is just if people were wanting to see more of Pluto, but it's just like, again, I backed myself into a wall with trying to do this in too short of a period of time. We'll talk about this again in the afterthoughts, but for now, last we left off, we finally met Pluto, and we find out that this Dr. Abula is, I don't know if controlling is the right word, but kind of like behind Pluto. He's the bad guy. We also had Nazis. We have a new robot joining the fray, Epsilon, who is a peaceful daddy bot, and I mean daddy bot in both ways, because he is literally a daddy to a bunch of war orphans, but also he is daddy. Apparently Epsilon, from what I'm gathering, does use he, him pronouns. I was unsure last time, because I don't think it said last time. But, yeah, from what I've gathered in, like, synopsises and stuff, it is he, him pronouns. So yeah, just very pretty male robot. Very pretty. Anyway. So, the one Nazi dude wants revenge on Gesicht, because Gesicht apparently killed his brother, but he's trying to, like, handle it in a very specific way, and when he saw Epsilon, he kind of just ran. It's like, okay, we're not getting involved here, too much happening. So I'm wondering where that plotline's going to go. But I guess we'll just find out with this episode, see where this leaves off in the mid-season for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I did not have Keith David, of all actors slash voice actors, being the voice of Dr. Umataro Tenma in Pluto on my bingo card. That was just not even a thought that could happen. Like, of all the voices I would have thought of for Tenma, it would not have been Keith David. But at the same time, it's like, it's fucking Keith David. Like, oh, yeah, I'm in. And mind you, we're gonna still be watching the sub for this. We're not gonna switch over to the dub. But I've been checking out the dub as we've gone. I've just wanted to hear some of the dub voices and everything. Fucking Keith David. Like, I would have never thought of that. I also want to see, who is the voice actor for Ochana, whatever the fuck his name is, the professor. Ochanomizu. Mike Pollock. I feel like I definitely know the name, but I can't place it, because I definitely recognized his voice as well. I want to check that real quick, see what else he's been in. Looks like he plays a lot of older characters. Apparently he's a character in later season of Dr. Stone. Oh, he's voiced Dr. Eggman, apparently. So that's interesting. Oh, he was in Higurashi Sotsu? Apparently he was in the final season of Attack on Titan. Oh, he was Kudo in Great Pretender. Oh, shit, yeah. Okay. That's a voice that I would definitely know him for. Okay. But yeah, he's voiced Eggman a lot, so it seems like that's probably one of the big places I know his voice from. It's like I'm like listening to him. It's like, I know that voice, and then it's like I see on here he voices Eggman. It's like, yeah, okay, I hear that he's Eggman. Yeah, I didn't know that was the same voice as the guy from Great Pretender, though. That one surprises me a bit. Apparently he's voiced the Pokemon Volcanion, which is interesting. But yeah, he seems to be like the main voice recently of Dr. Eggman from Sonic games and shows and whatnot. But he's done quite a few other things, it looks like. Like he was in Berserk: The Golden Age Arc 2 movie, for example. He was Drayden in Pokemon. He's in Mobile Suit Gundam, Ikitosen, which is an ecchi, so that's interesting. But yeah, Dr. Eggman is the big one that I definitely recognize the voice for. But this was a big episode, and this was for multiple reasons. Not only did it introduce us to Dr. Tenma, who is a major character in all of this. He created Adam and was the creator of, Astro Boy in the original series and everything that Pluto is based off of. It not only introduced him, though, we have the murder plot on Adolf Haas. We have Adam's apparent death, which I don't believe for a second. We have Dr. Goji being more properly introduced. We've seen him very briefly before, I think in the last episode, but now we're like getting to know more about him and see that he was kind of possessing the dude that we saw. talking to Ochani Mizu or whatever, Professor O. Just a lot of shit going down. It was very big. Like even the professor who's been working with Gesicht and all, even he's being targeted. Everyone's being targeted. Luckily, Epsilon saved him though, and Epsilon's pissed because his creator died. So he's upsetty spaghetti right now. A lot of intense stuff, and this is what I was talking about in the opening, in the pre-thoughts. This series gets very intense, and I feel like with this episode, we're about to go into the second half of the series. I think it's going to get even more so. I think it's going to get more, like, crazy now that we've introduced Dr. Tenma into the fold of things, and the computerized brain and all of that. I feel like shit's about to go even crazier than ever. Because even Gesicht now is being told that he killed Adolf's brother, which he very clearly was shocked by, which is more than likely one of those memories that was wiped from his system. So, yeah, crazy shit's happening. So much for his trip to Japan, you know? This is definitely that exact episode that everything changes. You see it in a lot of different shows. A lot of times for a show like that's shorter like this, it will be the mid-season point where it just like it just turns things over. It just reestablishes the show in a way. We get a lot of intense reveals, a lot of intense action, a lot of shocking moments. Like Adam's death, quote unquote, was very early in this episode. Like you would think an episode would end with that, but no, it kind of opened with it in a way. Instead, the episode ended on a line of dialogue from Dr. Tenma on what would make the perfect computerized brain and, by extension, create the greatest robot in the world. Which, by the way, is the name of the arc from Astro Boy that this entire series is, you know, based on. So, kind of title drop there. But I mentioned at the end of the reaction as well that this was a very good point to leave off on. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, we are going to be taking a break. We're pulling an Invincible. And what I mean is the new season of Invincible released like 4 episodes, and then they're going to release the other 4 this season at the beginning of this next year. So it's like, what we're doing is we're going to be taking a break from Pluto, because again, I can't get this done by the time One Piece is going to come back. There's not enough time for a series like that. This is definitely one of those shows that I need to take my time on, that I need to let breathe. It's not something I can rush through, and that was a mistake that honestly I didn't quite know. Because when I chose to do this, I had only seen the first episode as a first impression. So I didn't quite know I was going to really need to let this breathe. I thought I could manage to do multiple episodes in a week. I cannot. So I think it's right that we take a break. But we aren't replacing it with anything because there's just not enough time. Like, next week is the last week we have before we're taking the break for, you know, the holidays. Because literally a week from this next Monday is Christmas Day. Again, I celebrate Christmas myself, and as such, that week is probably going to be, at least to a degree, at least for the first few days of the week, impossible to record on. The last few days of the week it might be possible, but I'm just going to take the entire week off. Just make it a full holiday break. But because of that, we'll be coming back at the start of the new year. And that means that we'll be coming back on the week that we have to get back to One Piece on. So, yeah, there's just not time anymore. I would basically, to make this work, because this was episode 4, I would have to do 5 this week as well, and then I would have to do 6, 7, and 8 next week. It's just not going to work. I can't do that at this point. If it were a different, like, there are other shows that I'm currently reacting to that I could do something like that with. But this is not one of them. Like I said, this is a series I need to let just rest after every episode, because I really need to think about it. I really need to absorb it all. Plus, again, just because of how heavy and intense this series gets, doing more than one episode a week would just be too much, honestly. Again, it's like I said in the pre-thoughts, it's not as bad as Doom Patrol. Like that one would also had the factor of being excessively depressing and harsh in that regard. This isn't that bad. But I don't want to force myself to get through it all and end up really, like, upsetting myself because of it, nonetheless. The way that this episode kind of turned the tables on the season, though, and how it's going to lead into the second half, I think this is a really good way to end it. The introduction of Tenma, Adam's apparent death, the increased activity by the villains. It's like everything is just getting more exciting, more intense. All these big moments happening. This feels like a mid-season finale. In that regard, it was done extremely well, and in pretty much every regard, it was done extremely well. But yeah, this really hammered in just how crazy this shit's about to get. And I think having a break here actually will help. I think it'll genuinely help allow me to just to be in the right headspace for the second half. Now, as for when this will be replaced, because this is a first impressions, we have to take that into account. This was just put onto this slot as a temporary replacement for One Piece. But this is a first impressions. Now, we have 2 first impressions series currently going, Dr. Stone and Jormungand. I don't know if we're going to end up replacing one of those with Pluto right away. I just don't know. It's up in the air for the moment. But what I can say is that I am going to try to get back to Pluto as soon as I can. Because I don't want it to be, months and months down the line or anything. So if I can replace one of those with Pluto, then I will do so. But we'll tackle that when we get to that. And we will come back to Pluto as quickly as possible. It's just, I can't do more than one a week, and there's no way to make this work otherwise. I think this is a good closing point, though, for now. We could have done, obviously, one more next week, but having it be right in the middle of the season and having it be this episode just works so well. So, to end this off, my big theory right now, in regards to Adam at least, is that he is not dead. That he is simply being repurposed as a body for the bad guys. More than likely Pluto specifically. Um, but I believe that Pluto or that Adam will be able to be saved. I don't know how, but I believe that Pluto or that I keep saying Pluto. I believe that Adam will be saved. But Adam's body is probably going to be used by the bad guys first. That is more than likely going to happen. So, yeah, fun. Real intense shit. Gonna be interesting to see where things go with Haas, who is kind of going crazy and everything. Um, Also, I love how he takes the moment after beating up the cleaning robot to like have an "I told you so" moment with Gesicht, and is like, "You killed my brother" and everything. It's like the robot just told you the cleaning robot just told you your family was being held hostage. Are you not gonna focus on that? You're gonna take the time to taunt Gesicht when he's literally someone who could help save your family at the moment. I know you don't like robots. I know you're a robot Nazi, robot hating Nazi. Let's get that specifically correct. Um, but at the same time, dude, priorities. You love your family. It's very clear you love your family. Focus on that. Getting pissy with Gesicht isn't going to help anyone. Like, my dude, think. Um, but yeah, so that's all we've got for now. Hopefully we can come back to this ASAP, and when we do, I'm very excited to see how the second half of this season goes. Or this series. I don't think it's going to have a second season. Um, I, I don't. It probably wouldn't need that because it's probably just complete as is. Um, to my knowledge, the manga isn't that long, so. But yeah, tell me what you thought of this episode in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.